Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday morning Boomer Bust show. I'm here with Sully to give you guys our best advice. It might not be right, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try and back it up with maybe some logic behind our thinking. But give us your start sit questions for the week, and we'll do our best to answer it. If we both disagree, the chat, it's up to you guys to break the tie. So make sure you guys are in there, active in the chat. And already Anthony left us right at 11 with a question. He said, "Good morning, Heat Seekers. Who should I flex in a full PPR? We got Zach Moss, George Pickens, or Jalen Waddle."
This one's tougher than it should be, right? Like, I don't know what to make of Waddle and the entire Miami situation. I think Zach Moss has emerged to be the primary Joe Mixon replacement in Cincinnati, and Justin Fields is good with his legs, but newsflash, still isn't that great at throwing the football. So I'm probably going Zach Moss here, but I don't feel comfortable with any of them, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Moss does have like a nice matchup with a weak Washington defense today. You would think the Bengals have to win. Like they're gonna play to win today, and with that, I think they come with a very, very balanced approach, especially in a game that they should they have the talent to dominate this game. And they've lost two really close games that they were one possession away from winning. So I think they do best when they have a really, really strong run game, and Zach Moss does look the best in that. So I'll give it to him as well. It would be Jalen Waddle if Tua was playing, but if you looked up the numbers of Jalen Waddle without Tua, they're pretty it's like 4 or 5 points less per game. I think he's still technically like right at the cusp of getting still at an average of double-digit points. But how many of those games also had like no Tyreek Hill in it because he was kind of banged up at the end of last year, which might have helped.
And Waddle had a year prior to Hill getting there that I think elevates those numbers a lot as well. So
correct.
Yeah, I'm afraid that Miami as a whole might be kind of ugly for a bit.
Yeah, they're gonna be. I bet it's gonna be like a lot of short passes and let Tyreek, Waddle. I don't know if Mostert's playing today, but let all these fast guys.
But A-Chan will probably get another 14 targets, right? So he's probably still safe.
Yeah, they're gonna let these playmakers make plays close to the line of scrimmage today. There should be a lot of rack opportunity, and Jalen Waddle can benefit from that. But honestly, he's probably the third best at after the catch on that team. That's saying a lot with guys like A-Chan and Hill. Rob Kane, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in, and he follows it up with a question.
Thanks for being here, man.
Ford, Singletary, Chuba, Akers. What order would you start them? I knew we're gonna get some Akers today for sure, and rightfully so. You don't like him? You don't like him in this offense?
I've never liked him. There's a reason I had Kyron over Akers last year when everybody thought I was nuts, but that's okay. He's in a good spot. There's no doubt about it.
I think I put him number 1 on this list.
I'm just going to go check my fun little running back rankings here.
While you do that, I'll go ahead. I'm going to go with who do the Browns play today? I was just looking at their stupid schedule.
The Giants.
The Giants, yes. So I'm going to go with Akers, Ford, Chuba, Singletary. I kind of like a lot of Panthers today that are being slept on with Andy Dalton. I think he's going to be a lot more decisive than Bryce Young is back there. And Andy Dalton doesn't have a problem checking it down either. So I think all Panthers players get a boost. Newsflash.
Bryce Young sucks. Bryce Young's no good. Who would have thought?
You definitely nailed that one. He has been put in a terrible situation.
It's not over for him yet. I don't think Dalton's taken it the rest of the year, but
and we're also seeing something we haven't seen in the past, and that's that like some of these quarterbacks that just did horrible at the beginning of their career are getting opportunities. Sam Darnold already in 2 weeks has looked better than he had his entire career. Baker Mayfield looks better now than he has his entire career. Just a few years ago, Geno Smith. So some of these guys, when they get maybe put in the right opportunity in the right situation, they can revive their career. So guy I'd still be stashing in some dynasty leagues, but yeah, he's.
You know what's really interesting with the Darnold and the Baker comparison, right? Is Baker was pretty decent in Cleveland. Like he played hurt almost all the time and did well. Went to Carolina and was absolutely horrific. Got out of Carolina, went to the Rams and like lit it up for 3 weeks at the end of the year. And then look where he is now. Sam Darnold was arguably drafted too high and played in a horrible organization with Adam Gase as a head coach. And he went to Carolina and he was trash. He got out of there, went to San Francisco, revitalized himself a bit and playing good in Minnesota. The common denominator is the Panthers organization is a place where guys are going to die right now. And like, man, there's talk that Bryce wants to get traded, and I don't blame him. I don't know who's trading for him, but we'll see.
The Rams could be a good spot for him. I think that'd be a great situation for him to sit another year. Like he could easily sit another year. I mean, Matt Stafford ain't got that many years left. So I mean, he sits the rest of this year
too.
Well, I would also look rough if I lost my two top receivers in the first
and linemen. His whole offensive line is gone too. But anyway, I'll answer this question based on my rankings. I have it Ford, Singletary, Akers, Hubbard, and that's from 23 to 27 in my running back rankings. So it's a good question. They're all jammed together. I like Ford as a whole. I worry that Foreman is starting to carve in a little bit of a split there, though. So I just think Chuba's in real tough, but we'll see. Yeah. I think those guys are all, and that's a good question. Like I said, they're all in the same range for me.
Yeah, that's why I got Akers and Ford at the top, because touchdown upside right there. I mean, they score a touchdown. They get double digits. They could definitely be. I'm not banking on these guys getting more than 15, but if I were to guess two of them were, it'd be Ford and Akers for sure. All right, Jay asks, morning men, was wondering, would you recommend streaming a defense each week? For example, the Ravens fell to me in an 8-man, but should I drop them this week and start streaming week to week? Or it follows it up, should I keep them as they play the Cowboys? Okay. So is it basically, is it worth biting the bullet and playing a high-powered offense like the Cowboys today and just starting them? Or should he just start streaming week to week on matchups, which is honestly one of the things I do. I stream defenses. I'm only in, I think, one league that plays defenses, and I stream it. Like right today, I think I'm playing the Packers defense against the Titans. But I also didn't get a top 5 defense in the first place. And I feel like the Ravens, they got a decent pass rush. If I'm looking to grab a defense and start them week to week, like a team like the Cowboys who can get a lot of sacks and turnovers, that's great. But I don't know. I recommend streaming from week to week because the defense for the Ravens is stout and all, but they really don't get a ton of sacks, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they got a great middle linebacker and a good safety and some decent corners, but when I'm looking at defenses, I want to start every week. I want defenses that can get sacks because I feel like that's the easiest path to getting points. Interceptions are less likely than sacks, obviously. So I would probably just stream them depending on what's available out there.
I think the fact that it's an 8-team league makes me want to stream even more because there's just that much more available out there. Like I'm looking for defenses like the Seahawks against Skylar today, and I'm looking at defenses like the Titans or the Packers, both of them in that game against Malik Willis, and more so I'd like the Titans than the Packers. I like the Bengals defense to bounce back and put a lot of pressure on Jaden Daniels on his first Monday night start. I think there's probably more options out there for you in the smaller league. So I don't think the Ravens are a bad play, but I think they're probably maybe a 6 to 8 point defense as a ceiling this week. And defensive scoring is all over the map. So who knows how it's scored in your league, but I would say, I would agree with Bryce. I would lean towards streaming on a weekly basis because I think you'll be able to find a more advantageous matchup for you.
Rob Kane asks, start 2 PPR Superflex League. So obviously this is a Superflex spot and then probably a flex spot to follow. So Pitts, Akers, Nix, Dalton, and then Skylar Thompson. Probably playing a quarterback, right, in one of the spots. Which quarterback are we picking between Nix, Dalton, and Skylar Thompson?
I have Dalton ranked the highest, and I know it sounds crazy, but I go back to, I think it was week 3 last year. The Panthers started 0-2. I think Bryce Young had some kind of, it might have been a concussion or something. He missed week 3. And Andy Dalton unlocked Adam Thielen in that offense in that game. So I think that's what I'm looking for today. I'm looking for Dalton primarily to get Thielen and Deontay Johnson going. And I think they'll do okay. I don't think they're going to score 35 points or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if Dalton throws for, 282 and probably 2 picks. But I think that's going to supersede what Nix is going to do. And I really think Skylar's going to struggle in his first start. So I'm probably going to go with Dalton, and the Chiefs are bleeding points to the tight end, and it scares me, but I'll probably go Pitts as well. I mean, I probably might start 2 quarterbacks actually.
Well, I imagine one of these spots is only a super flex, and then the other one is a flex. So
I think you're probably right. So I'll go with Dalton and Pitts then.
I'm going with Dalton as well at the quarterback position, and then I will go with Akers. Kyle Pitts is, I don't know, this usage is not much different.
Scary.
He's just not that good. Yeah,
which is crazy, but maybe that is the case.
Yeah. I mean, Bijan looks great, and even Drake London hasn't looked that good. I've been kind of watching him play too. It's Ray McCloud and Bijan in that offense.
I'm actually going to change now that I think about it. When I watched that Monday night game, Cousins was awful again for the
last drive.
Except for that, right? So, But the Eagles pulled back, right? There's no pass rush whatsoever. The one thing that we know that the Chiefs can do is get to the quarterback, right? So Cousins could be in some serious trouble this week as well. So I think I'm with you. I'll go with Akers, even though I don't really like him very much, but he's probably the best of my choices here.
He's lost a lot. He looks small. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. Looks way more shifty. I don't know if he's maybe changing his running style due to that as well because of all the injuries. Or maybe it's just because Joe Mixon's that much bigger than him. He just
could be. Dude, good or not, the dude's a medical marvel. Running backs don't come back from a torn Achilles. He's coming back from 2 torn Achilles.
Yeah.
It's impressive. So
and this is somewhat of a revenge game, right? I mean,
it is a revenge game for sure.
Playing Minnesota today. I imagine his main revenge game would be against the Rams, where that was all weird.
Yeah. But, I think you always want to do good against your former team, regardless of how long you were there, because they let you go, right? So
So Akers and Diggs might have a nice little day today.
Yeah.
Craig, you should take your nap now. That way you can be up for the games at 1 or whatever time zone you're in.
He's a Cowboys fan, so he might want to nap during that too.
Craig is a Cowboys fan?
Yeah, he's a Cowboys fan living in Wisconsin, so it's
interesting.
His day-to-day isn't easy, so I applaud his loyalties. But I would take one now. Craig, I would take one now. Hell, I kind of feel like taking one now, but we'll keep going here.
Matt Z with the great profile picture. Kincaid or Ferguson? I'll go with Dalton Kincaid here.
I have to stay with Kincaid here, and I'm not sure I fully trust Ferguson. I want to see how that knee looks coming back. But obviously, if he's on the field, he's good to go. But, man, he looked like a season ender when he got hit there. I'm glad he's not. But I can't imagine that Dalton Kincaid plays this role for the entirety of the season. So I'm going to keep running him out there and hoping that we see what he can do.
Yeah, and last week it was kind of – I mean, they got ahead so fast with just on the back of James Cook that it kind of just left the rest of the team to suffer fantasy-wise. Their whole team basically was fantasy irrelevant besides James Cook.
That scares me, though, because that's what Joe Brady wants to do, right?
Yeah.
It scares me for that entire offense. When's the last time Josh Allen scored 10 fantasy points and they won?
True. That is true. But, I wish Rick was here so I could let him know that James Cook is not bad. Because he was really on that train that he was not that good.
Rick's always watching. He's out there somewhere.
Lad McConkey or Wan'Dale Robinson?
Man. This one's
Lad
tougher
McConkey had a really good first week.
He did. We're not 100% sure Justin Herbert's playing yet either. So he's got a high ankle sprain, and he's supposed to be 50-50 last I saw from Schefter and those guys. So based on everything in a vacuum, it would be Lad McConkey for me, but Wan'Dale got some targets, so I've got Lad a little bit higher. I've got Lad as my wide receiver 39 this week, so I do these rankings every week. I might as well trust them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like their backup quarterback is a horrible, horrible option, and Taylor Heineke, who's kind of been a fun guy to watch, too.
As long as it's not Easton Stick, because Harbaugh didn't say who his backup was. But, yeah, I agree. Heineke can get it done.
Yeah, I would imagine
small
Heineke
pieces.
Goes. Yeah. So I'll go with Lad McConkey, too, work in the middle of the field. Backup quarterbacks tend to not. And in a Harbaugh offense, he's not one to take a lot of big shots. So
yeah, he might not throw it more than 20 times, too, right? So
correct. Unless they have to, which I'm sure at some point they will get in a situation where they have to.
Who are they playing? Pittsburgh?
Yes. So it should
that be 9. That could be 9-6.
Yeah,
right,
it could be.
Yeah.
Pittman or Deontay Johnson? We're here. This hype around Anthony Richardson that I was cautious that I was cautious around is finally paying off. I kind of avoided him because I just did not think he was a good passer. And it's showing these first 2 weeks. He is struggling really, really bad. That apparently on a lot of joint team practices in the off season, they were like complaining that this dude doesn't throw the ball. Like on 7-on-7s, he wasn't like throwing the ball or whatever.
Wow.
So Pittman's suffering, and we're seeing it. Gardner Minshew was very, very good for him. Does Andy Dalton move the needle for Deontay Johnson to pass Michael Pittman for you this week?
So as crazy as this sounds, yeah. Like I am. It's funny you brought that up because I was thinking back to last season and we were talking about Michael Pittman and I think it was split, right? I think you were cautious and Rick and I were, don't worry about it, he'll be fine. I'm in the cautious category now because he's just not getting targeted and he doesn't look good and he's hurt. Like he's kind of banged up, right? So the one thing Deontay Johnson will do is get open, whether he can catch the ball and Andy can get it to him, we'll see. But I think he's going to have a better week. So, yeah, I would go with Deontay Johnson over Michael Pittman Jr. this week. And it's weird, but it's kind of where we're at, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I'm treading lightly with both of these guys, but this is also not an ideal matchup for Michael Pittman Jr. against Chicago's defense.
They're good. They're legit.
Yeah. I mean, Jalen Johnson's a top 5 corner in the league, arguably one of the best. So I imagine he'll be put up on Michael Pittman Jr. the whole game. There's really no reason to put him on anybody else. Whereas Andy Dalton, the only thing I worry about Deontay Johnson is, I guess, the offensive line for the Panthers. And then will Andy Dalton prefer Adam Thielen? I don't know. So I'm going to take the better route runner, or at least the younger, probably better route runner, definitely not better hands than Deontay Johnson today to have a decent week and unlock his ability.
Agree.
Sharp, 16-team league, full PPR. Ford or Brian Thomas or Sutton?
Well, it's not Sutton.
Definitely
sad
not
to
Sutton.
say. The other one intrigues me. I'm a huge Brian Thomas fan.
Yeah, he didn't have a catch till the fourth quarter last week, and he ended up, it was a big one.
Well, Trevor Lawrence had something like 12 yards passing in the first half, so I don't really know what's going on there. Lawrence has been pretty vocal this week about getting Christian Kirk going, so we'll see what that means. But I think they get down into the red zone, especially with Evan Ingram out, that Brian Thomas is going to be one of those primary targets. Big body, great body control, and awesome hands. I do like Ford. I'll probably lean Ford here, but I want the right answer to be Brian Thomas. But I would go with Ford.
Yeah, I think you could also chalk this up to kind of maybe a floor and a ceiling play. Like if you want like a safer play, let's throw in Ford in there. We know he's probably going to get like 12 to 15 touches more than likely. Where Brian Thomas Jr.'s got the big playability. He is their best deep threat. He is their biggest body wide receiver inside in the red zone. And no, Evan Ingram is a good note to put in there. So I'll leave it at that. So if you need that floor, play Ford. And if you want a little bit of a ceiling, Brian Thomas. I normally play the ceiling play nowadays, so I'd probably throw in Brian Thomas Jr.
Full PPR leans you a little bit more to the Thomas side too, right?
Yep. Surprised the first time we've gotten this so far. Do we trust Tyreek Hill this week?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I don't really care. I mean, like, I do care. I think Tua is a really accurate passer. But the fact of the matter is when you get a backup quarterback in there and you got a head coach like Mike McDaniels, he's gonna put the pressure off of that quarterback and try and get it into his playmaker's hands quickly. And that's Tyreek Hill. So yeah, he's gonna get a lot of quick slants today, a lot of little bubble screens, maybe even a shot down the field or two. So he's gonna get a lot of work. If anything, Tua coming out hurts Jalen Waddle more than anybody. So I'm not too worried about Tyreek Hill this week. If anything, I guess he maybe lacks that accuracy down the field. I don't really know Skylar Thompson's deep ball, so he could be good, but it seems like Tua always hits him in stride down the field every other week. So I don't know if we get that, but he's going to get targets today. So I trust him. I don't know why everybody's treading so lightly around him. He's one of the best. We don't tread lightly when Justin Jefferson, when Sam Darnold's in there for Justin Jefferson.
Sam Darnold's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just, before the season started, we didn't know that. Some of us didn't.
I did.
Yeah. But, if a backup quarterback goes in for the Vikings or even the Try to think of another. I mean, I guess the Bengals, even though Jamar Chase didn't do well, we're not going to steer clear of those guys.
Sure.
So,
we're not. And
we're going to start our sets.
So I'm a pretty big Matt Waldman fan, and Matt Waldman loves Skylar Thompson when he was coming out. So I read a whole bunch of stuff on him then and a little bit since. And the one thing that Skylar Thompson does have is a cannon for an arm. So I do think you'll see a shot or two down the field today. To Bryce's point, I don't know where the ball's going to land. The one thing I saw in a little bit of time that Skylar Thompson was playing is this dude's going to struggle to get through his progressions. That said, his primary read on most of these passes is either going to be Devon Achane or Tyreek Hill. And I think Bryce is 100% right. Mike McDaniels is going to scheme up a good 10 to 15 manufactured ball in hand for Tyreek Hill. And he's still, like, I have him at wide receiver 8. Normally I have him at wide receiver 1, 2, or 3. So I've lowered him, but there's no way I'm sitting Tyreek Hill unless I'm in some kind of weird league where I have CeeDee Lamb and Jefferson and Jamar Chase. But I trust him. Yes. Just, is he going to get you 40 points this week? No. Is he going to get you 20? It's very possible.
Yeah. Next one. Another guy I thought we'd get more questions for today. Carson Steele or Najee Harris, full PPR?
It's Najee for me, and I think I have Steele somewhere in my RB30 range, and it's a great story and everything, but I haven't been overly impressed with what I've seen in very, very, very limited touches. We'll see. I think it's a more Samaje Perine than it is Carson Steele, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really 50-50 today with those two running backs. Samaje Perine's really, really good out of the backfield. Carson Steele runs hard in between the tackles, right?
Yep.
So that's what he's going to be good for. If they get, he's got a higher touchdown upside than Samaje Perine, because if they get inside the 5-yard line, they're going to give it to that dude. He's a fan favorite too, which I know people are like, that doesn't matter. It does.
He's totally built for the goal line too. He's huge.
Yeah. I don't know if their game is home today, but if it is and he gets in the end zone early, like that's just going to pump the crowd up.
That's the Monday nighter. I don't know where it is.
Is it Monday night or Sunday night?
Sorry, it could be Sunday night. It is Sunday night. You're right. It's in Atlanta against hang on, Falcons.
Yeah,
I've been working on that.
Yeah, but I'll go with Najee. I'll go with Najee as well. He runs super hard as well, but he's got all the talent, just hasn't found the end zone yet.
Yep.
Impossible assets. Need one flex. Chuba, JSN, or Jennings? Jennings is an interesting one. Yeah, because, I mean, Jennings is a good option today. There's no George Kittle. There's no Deebo Samuel.
Totally.
Obviously, no McCaffrey.
Right. That team's
Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is good. I think we can take Chuba out of this, right? I mean, it's got to be JSN or Jennings here.
Yeah, and it's JSN. I think we saw him finally get unlocked and starting to see what we thought he was coming into the league. He's an outstanding wide receiver at Ohio State, and I think he's just getting going here. And I think he's going to – Tyler Lockett's about to hand the baton to JSN, and he's about to go here. So I think he's a good guy to not only start this week, but try to get him in your leagues as well. Try to add him now before he takes off in value. Yeah,
I was trying to see how many – he had 12 catches last week. I was trying to look how many targets were that. I can see right here. Smith and Jigba.
He had 12 catches last week? I knew he had a good game. I didn't know he had 12 catches.
16 targets, 12 catches.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I don't know how often Seattle's going to throw like that, but if they do, between DK and JSN and even Tyler Lockett, I still like him. I think he's going to emerge as their best wide receiver here in short order.
Yeah, yes, just best pure wide receiver. That should be a really, really nasty duo by the end of the season with him and DK.
Nothing wrong with starting Jennings today, though. The Rams are absolutely trashed. Their whole team is injured. But that being said, the Niners are going to have to throw the ball a little bit. And I think Jennings and Ayuk are obviously the primary pass catchers there right now. So,
right.
And Jennings look at him in the Super Bowl. The guy can play.
Trade Jordan Mason and Demont for A.J. Brown. Hi, Bryce Hall. I don't really care. If you can afford – I mean, if you're 0-2, I could see why you'd be hesitant to do this and you need a win today because you're trading two guys that are valuable starters today for a guy that's not playing. But if you're 1-1 or 2-0, I'm pulling the trigger on this so fast. Jordan Mason's going to be not very valuable here in 4 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks or whatever. Dave Montgomery's decent, but you don't ever really like to start – I imagine – Brees Hall, Bibbs, and Hurts met Gibbs.
I was going to ask you who Bibbs was, but that's cool.
I imagine he's saying Gibbs, so you don't really like starting two of the running backs from the same team. And it said he just put in the chat that he is 2-0. So yeah, I'll take AJ Brown here rather easily. I imagine he plays next week or the week after.
I don't think we see AJ Brown till week 6.
Really? I wonder why would they put him on IR then?
Because there's no reason to put him on IR because they don't. I don't know, but I look at their schedule. They got a week 5 bye, so we're in week 3. He's not playing. Chances are they don't run him back unless he's 100% in week 4.
Or they lose today. They could rush him back.
They could, but normally you're going to take that bye and you're going to try to give the guy yet another week's rest so he's 100% guaranteed coming out of the bye. So I don't think we see him until week 6. I'm wrong a lot, so that's possible. That said, I might still make this trade. I would just try to do it. I just don't think you have to give up 2 for 1 here. Like, isn't Jordan Mason in a redraft league just as valuable as AJ Brown? Christian McCaffrey's not coming back anytime soon.
You don't think so?
No. Like, I would try to do Jordan Mason for AJ Brown straight up. Because the guy, and you said he's 2-0. I'd love to know what the AJ Brown guy's record is. He's probably not 2-0. So he's desperate for a win. Jordan Mason is putting up 20-ish points a week. He's going to absolutely eat again this week. I think that's a 1-for-1 trade. I don't think, and I get it. You have Gibbs, and you don't necessarily love the 2 running backs on each team, but this is a long season. And somebody's
the AJ Brown guy is 1-1.
Okay, yeah, I would say if you want Jordan Mason, like I want AJ Brown, you can have Jordan Mason. If you don't want to make the trade, that's fine. Wait, because he's going to get more and more desperate as he continues to lose with AJ on his bench, and you continue to win with Jordan Mason in your lineup.
That's fair. He could, especially after this week. Like Jordan Mason's going to get 25 touches today, and I can't imagine him not getting it today. They're going to have to lean on the run game so heavily. With just
the only thing that he might not do well is he might sit at the end of the 3rd quarter when the Niners are up 28-0.
Who do they play again today?
The Rams, who are the only team in the league.
That's a division game, though.
More hurt than the Niners.
Yeah, division games sometimes always find a way to be close, I feel like.
That's fair, but they have 10 guys on IR.
Yeah, that's rough. Cooper Kupp didn't go to IR, though.
No, I don't think they have room. The IR bus is full, so they just put him on the side.
You try the straight up Jordan Mason for AJ Brown. Feed him the intel that Christian McCaffrey ain't coming back soon. He's going to be Jordan Mason going to be starting in your lineup for half the league. They could save Christian McCaffrey all the way to the playoffs for all we know.
Jordan Mason is an absolute league winner in fantasy this season so far. Like diamond in the rough.
Start 2 full PPR, 1 running back and then 1 flex. So we added the running backs. We got Akers and Zamir. So which running back are we taking there?
Akers.
Man, I don't know. Who do the Rams have today? Or not the Rams, the how does Vegas Raiders?
I know the answer and I can't think of it. Give me one.
Is it the Panthers?
It is.
And their head coach was saying he needs to get Zamir White the ball more.
He did.
He did say that.
Coaches never lie to you.
I don't usually when they're talking about getting their running back involved more, because Zamir White's like one of those running backs you need to get a lot of touches for him to kind of get in a groove.
Flip a coin there for me. I have them almost back to back. I have Akers at 20, RB 27, and Zamir at RB 30. So.
I have the logic here says to start Akers in that offense, but I just have a feeling today Zamir White is going to have a big day, whether he scores or not. I just feel like he's going to have 100+ yards, like overall. I'm going to go with Zamir White. I'm going to gut feel. Last time I had the gut feeling, I was right. I can't remember. It was last year. I'll go with Zamir.
I like it.
And then what wide receiver, flex. Now the other running back or Dell, Shakir, or Deontay Johnson.
It's Shakir for me, and Deontay would be the second choice. I do like Ertz. I'm not ready to trust Strange yet because of the rumblings of trying to get Christian Kirk more involved. But I just really like Khalil Shakir, and I think that most weeks he's going to be the number 2 or number 1 target of Josh Allen. So that's a good spot to be in.
Yeah, he might just be the best wide receiver on that team. So I will also go
I think
with
he is.
Shakir at the flex position, and I was going to say Ertz as well at the tight end position. The other tight ends on that team aren't even involved. So
nope, not yet.
Solid situation there. Philip, PPR start 1, Carson Steele, Deontay Foreman, Josh Reynolds. Almost forgot his name.
That's okay.
I'm going to go Carson Steele here.
I am too. I think you have to out of these 3.
Yep. Yeah, I don't hate starting Carson Steele today. I mean, I think he could easily get 12 rushes.
10 to 15 touches and might score once or twice. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Give me the guy with the touchdown upside there and probably a heavier more touches than all those guys.
Picking the guy that plays with Patrick Mahomes is never a bad thing.
Yeah. Mark McCauley, except friggin' Travis.
Did you see that offensive lineman has more fantasy points this season than Travis Kelce?
He's pissy. He's
like,
making
what
me so
the
angry.
Beep? He's killing me in quite a few air spots.
Taylor Swift sucking the talent right on out of him.
Ooh.
Morning, fellas. PPR. Need one running
literally
back.
Or what?
I don't know. That's not my business. Don't want to see.
Sorry about that, Rick.
One running back. One running back. One white out. DeAndre Swift.
So probably wide out. We need a running back and a wide receiver here.
Sorry.
One of each.
Gotcha.
That's okay.
I was like, white out. I was like, are they wearing all whites today? DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones. Which one of those two?
Jones
as well. Calvin Ridley or Terry McLaurin? Ridley for me as well.
McLaurin needs to get going.
Both such good wide receiver options with just not trustworthy quarterback play yet, fantasy-wise.
Yeah, I think the fact that we're starting to see the massive quick decline of DeAndre Hopkins is elevating Calvin Ridley just in terms of targets. And he probably gets Jair Alexander today, which isn't probably the greatest thing in the world. But Daniels is that prototypical rookie quarterback with rushing upside. As soon as he doesn't see something, he just takes off. So, and I think that's really hurting Terry McLaurin and the rest of the Washington pass catchers is Daniels knows he knows how to run. And he just doesn't trust his arm yet. So he's just taking off every chance he gets. The kid's going to get killed. Like he's taken some massive shots already.
He did that in college too.
That's true. But it's hurting him. It's not hurting him. It's hurting the Washington pass catchers.
It's hurting them. We're just not seeing it yet.
I think it's coming. Like I think Terry will have his day, but I'm just not ready to put him out there yet.
Right. Hi there, need a flex. PPR 0.5 per rush attempt.
Interesting.
Devontae at Carolina or Singletary at Cleveland?
It's Adams for me.
Yeah, I mean, geez, 10 rushing attempts is 5 points just right there. That's crazy.
Gardner Minshew is like top 5 in passing yards in the league.
Yeah,
and I know it's 2 weeks, but still.
Well, we also saw what Pittman Jr. was worth last year with Gardner Minshew, and Devontae is an upgrade. So, and we saw it last week. I mean, Adams did have a rough first half, but man, geez, the fourth quarter, I think he had like almost 80 or something yards just in the fourth quarter when it came down to crunch time. And that chemistry is growing right in front of us. So I will.
And he made some ridiculous catches. Like he is still legit.
Yeah, you could argue he's right now, like you don't take age or anything into account. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You could easily make that argument.
Yeah, we had that Lad McConkey question earlier. Herbert is going to start.
Okay, yeah, good. I saw that they were optimistic. Tough spot. Do I play Kirk, Terry, Shakur, or Demarcus Robinson? I have a feeling Kirk goes off today. It is PPR. So obviously we're both probably Shakur's our favorite out of these options, I imagine still, even with the news that you said Kirk wanted to get more involved. I'm not going to buy that with all that talent. I will also. There's nobody else to throw the ball to, really. Keon Coleman, I think, is going to be a project, and he might be decent down the road, but I don't think he's.
There's Dalton Kincaid, please, for the love of God, throw that guy the football. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm just looking. Who does Buffalo play? They played Jacksonville.
Yes.
So that'll be fun. Those two guys are going head to head. It is Khalil Shakir for me, but if I removed let me try that again. If I removed Khalil Shakir from this equation, it would be Christian Kirk. So I think Shakir, to everything that Bryce said, I agree with. So it's Shakir for me.
Yep, I'll go with Shakir as well. Pedro Resto asks, what do you guys think? Eckler or Najee Harris? I also have Warren. My gut is telling me Eckler and Harris.
So he's got to start 2?
I don't know. It says Eckler or Najee, and then he says my gut is telling me both.
Yeah, it's Najee for me.
It's Najee over Eckler. If you have to pick both, Eckler and Harris for sure. Eckler has the exact role I thought he would in that offense, which is he's just a receiving back, essentially. Brian Robinson is a phenomenal runner. Like he's a good running back that can just. He's a better runner than Eckler, but Eckler is a way better back out of the backfield, which is fine in this offense and on this team because he's going to have plenty of opportunity this year because I think they're going to be down a lot, and it helps having a young quarterback, having a veteran guy right out of the backfield as a check down option for him. So I still like him as like a flex play throughout the year, but just not going to have old Austin Eckler numbers. Those days are long gone.
I would start Harris 1, Eckler 2, Warren 3. Part of me wants to start both the Steelers running backs. I go back to my comment just a minute or two ago about Daniels taking off and running. He isn't even checking down, right? Like he's just putting the rock away and going for it every chance he gets because he's struggling to get through his progressions and it's just challenging. He's a rookie quarterback and he's played 2 games. Like he'll be fine. But right. Eckler.
Yeah.
Eckler's a titch more ups. Eckler's a titch more upside, in my opinion, than Jalen Warren does. So I'd go Najee and Eckler here. I agree with you, but they're all jumbled in my rankings. Like I have Najee at 31, Eckler 33, and Warren at 35. So they're all the same guy pretty much for me this week. I just think that, against the Chargers, that's a tough defense. So I don't want to go with both of those Steelers guys. So I'll hedge my bet and go with Eckler and Harris, but I do like them.
Yeah, and Washington does have Cincinnati, who I think is going to put it on them. I think that might be tomorrow night's game. So Eckler might get a chance. I mean, he's got 4 targets week 1, 3 targets week 2, and he's brought in all of them. So he might get. I imagine that he'll just kind of always be a guy that gets around 5 targets every game. And
I didn't realize this, but we got 2 Monday nighters.
Yes, that's right. We do.
We got Jags at Bills and Commanders at Bengals.
That's right. I did know that. I always it's like I pay attention to stuff throughout the week, and then on Saturday I just forget everything.
That 5:30 start living out west for me is not easy. So
yeah,
might have to call in sick.
Should I start the Raiders defense versus the Panthers, Chargers defense versus the Steelers, Buccaneers defense versus the Broncos, or the Seahawks versus the Dolphins? I'm starting the Raiders defense here.
All right, so sacks and turnovers, right? That's what we're chasing.
Yep.
I don't think Fields is going to turn the ball over much because I don't think he's going to throw very much. He might get sacked 4 or 5 times. That's no big deal. Bucks versus Broncos is interesting to me. Seahawks versus Dolphins. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over either. So I'm going to start because I do think Dalton, I said earlier, could throw a couple of picks. That's where I'm going. I'm going to start the Raiders. I think Max Crosby might eat Andy Dalton's lunch for him today.
He is a little bit of a bum ankle. Max Crosby does, but
did you see Max Crosby give it to Gardner Minshew and kind of pump him up on the sideline in that game?
Yeah,
I was pumped up. So I love that guy. So I'm going to go with the Raiders D against the Panthers as well.
Yeah, Max Crosby. He was one of the coolest Hard Knock stories to watch.
I love that guy.
And he was like their 4th round pick after they took a different defensive end
They were such a horrific drafting organization.
Yeah, except I guess late mid rounds they did all right with him. But
even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Have PPR in a tough spot. Should I start Warren, Jake Ferguson, or Deontay Johnson as my second flex? I think Deontay Johnson is a solid flex spot today.
I think he has to be. They got to get that team going, and you got to think that Andy Dalton is in there with the instructions of get this guy and get Adam Thielen going. Thielen was visibly pissed last week. He had a little bit of a minor meltdown on the field and on the sidelines, and Deontay Johnson isn't far behind him. So I don't trust Jake Ferguson's knee, and Jalen Warren is in against a really tough Chargers defense. So I'm going to go with DJ here as well. Pretty comfortable.
With what you just said, not a question. Thielen or Deontay Johnson? which one would you start today? Just out of curiosity.
I'd probably go Thielen. I think I probably have Thielen ranked a little bit higher just because there's a bit of familiarity with Andy Dalton. And Thielen's going to be more primarily slot and DJ's going to be out wide. So I think that I think they're close. But it would – and Thielen's probably going to score. If anyone's going to score, the one thing Adam Thielen's done good his entire career is catch touchdown passes. So it's a good question.
I've got
I don't even know how – I got to see how I have it ranked now.
I've got Thielen in a wide receiver 3 spot today because I have A.J. Brown and Cooper Kupp out.
I traded Deontay
wide receiver 3. It's not bad. I've got Adams. I've got Adams and Neighbors still, but yeah.
I traded DJ this week, so I'm starting Thielen as my wide receiver 3 as well. If we catch up, I'll go over that trade with you.
I think he could be in for a good day. Montebella, one quick question. PPR. What the? I don't even know what Montebella means. Do you?
No, I'm not that smart.
I'm way too dumb for that. PPR need 2. I imagine he meant the number 2. Devin Singletary, Brian Thomas Jr., Juwan Jennings. I think this is Brian Thomas Jr. I imagine it's not Brian Robinson Jr. It's got to be Brian Thomas Jr. Juwan Jennings, thank you for all your help and have a great day. So let's just say we have to pick 2 here. Mark, what is the spelling, brother? We need to fix this.
It's the damn iPhones or the autocorrects, man. Give the guy a break. So my choice is Singletary, Brian Johnson Jr., and Juwan Jennings, whose wife very well may be Joanne, so maybe it is her. I don't know. I am going to start both the wide receivers if I have to pick 2.
I also will be starting both of the wide receivers. I haven't been paid. I know Devin Singletary found the end zone last week, but I do not trust a running back in that backfield at all. Heck, I didn't even feel good starting Barkley in that backfield last year, let alone some Devin Singletary. Here's a good one. J.K. Dobbins or Zach Charbonnet. Walker's out still, right?
Yep.
Yes. So we starting. Are we on the Dobbins train? Is it 5 years? 5 years later, finally, is he finally the answer? I think
Zach Charbonnet, yards per carry week 1, 2.7, yards per carry week 2, 1.9. I don't care if Walker's playing or not. That guy seems to be struggling, and their offensive line is beat up as well. Look, as long as J.K. Dobbins is healthy, he's a good running back. Like, that's never been a problem for him, right? He's averaged over 5 yards a carry his entire career. He's just been hurt more times than anyone other than Sammy Watkins. So I think it's J.K. Dobbins for me here, and it's not even close.
Yep. J.K. Dobbins, I mean, dude looks phenomenal. It looks like the J.K. Dobbins we thought that he could be. He even showed the glances of this early in his career with the Ravens. He just, that man, another guy that just could not stay healthy. He and Cam Akers, I feel like, had promising NFL careers, at least decent careers. Not saying they were going to be complete and utter studs, but man, he's getting the opportunity now in a perfectly built offense for a guy like him. Give me J.K. Dobbins. He might end up as a top 10 running back this season.
Another guy who potentially is a league winner right here out of nowhere. So
yep. I definitely thought it was going to be Gus. I thought Gus Edwards was going to be way more involved than he is, but
I guess it's just like in the Ravens days, right? JK's the RB1 and Gus is the change of pace and goal line guy. So, but Dobbins is scoring from 65 yards out all the time right now. So that's a tough matchup, though.
And here we are.
Can bring it.
Rashid Shaheed. I had somebody try and convince me for like an hour straight yesterday that Rashid Shaheed was a great fantasy asset. I'm like, dude, he's big play. He's big player bust, which he is, or Jalen Waddle. So does Tua out? With Tua in, this is Waddle easily, right? So Tua's out. Does that affect Waddle enough to where we're starting Rashid Shaheed above him?
Yep.
I agree. I mean, it's hard to stay away from anybody on that offense in all reality right now. The Saints 2 weeks in look like the best team in the NFL. That's just like we can't argue that, right? I mean, they scored every single drive. Like you can't say that they don't look like the best team in the NFL. They do. It's not like they played a bum week 2. They played a tough defense and just picked them apart like nothing. So I will take the big play ability in Rashid Shaheed.
They've scored more points in 2 weeks, I think, than any team in the last 15 years. They've scored 91 points already this year.
Yeah. It seems like this would be the game Waddle just goes nuts because nobody expects him to.
Hopefully.
But still,
I'm okay with that.
I am too. But
the other part of this equation is the Eagles have been really bad going back to last season and into this season in terms of their secondary and giving up passing yards. So Shaheed, hopefully Olave, they could have big days. So I don't know if they keep winning.
Alvin Kamara might be wide receiver or running back one by when this season ends this year.
Yeah, I think Breece Hall and Saquon have something to say about that, but he won't be far
Saquon definitely does, but Breece Hall might have a little bit of competition for it's not like he's competition for touches, but the backup running back there has earned touches. So it'll eat into him a little bit, but
in the file of things Sully was wrong about, put Braden Allen at the top of that file.
I got him stashed. I got him stashed in a few. It was weird because it seemed like he was in his college career. It's like he got worse as the years went on, but that could just be the team around him got worse because running backs are dependent on their offensive line, right? So he played really, really well early in his college career, and then kind of started to disappear, and heck of a situation he's got put in. Daniel Caps did tell us, thanks, guys. No problem, buddy. Z Smitty asks, experts say start London, but I'm leaning Amari Cooper because of the volume he gets against a horrible defense. I also have Bijan, and that's a lot of eggs in the Falcons basket. Okay, I understand. So does he start the two Falcons, or does he sub in Amari Cooper for Drake London?
You go with both Falcons. I think that Amari Cooper is obviously a good wide receiver, but Deshaun Watson seems to have eyes for Jerry Jeudy first. And I think there's something building there.
Last week, Amari Cooper dropped like two big plays that would have put him like 70-plus yards just right there. One of them might have been a touchdown. And that's 2 weeks in a row he dropped potential touchdown passes. So his stat line could look significantly different if he doesn't drop those two balls. I think I'm gonna lean Amari Cooper here as well. They're gonna force feed him the ball. I like the matchup a little bit better. To me, it seems like Drake London is kind of an afterthought in that offense right now. It's Bijan, and then I don't know. I don't know if he's struggling to get open because like Kirk is looking his way and making his way through the reads, and every time it seems like he looks London's way, and then boom, ball goes right to Ray McLeod. Boom, the ball goes towards Darnell Mooney.
But you know where that ball is going when that happens, right? It's going more into the middle of the field than versus out to the barrier. I think Kirk still doesn't trust pushing off that Achilles and throwing the ball. So he doesn't have the zip to get the ball out wide. The only time he really targeted London was when London was in the middle of the field, and then the touchdown at the end when he was freaking wide open. So I agree, but if I had to bet on who's going to come out of it sooner, Kirk Cousins or Deshaun Watson, I'm going to bet on Cousins. So I think Cleveland also runs the ball all damn day against the Giants. So we know Atlanta's going to have to throw against Kansas City.
Yeah. Watson the first half of last week looked like Deshaun Watson, like old Deshaun Watson. And then
he definitely looked better.
Didn't do much. I mean, honestly, a couple of his drives got stalled out from a big Amari Cooper drops. I think Amari Cooper is this guy that always does this. So it's like he puts up these crappy numbers, and it's like, what the fuck is going on with Amari Cooper? And then boom, 35-point week. And today might be that 35.
Where's the game? Week. Is it in Cleveland?
I don't know. I don't really don't know. Does it matter?
It is. It does for Amari Cooper if you historically look up his home and road splits for whatever reason.
Yeah,
there's no rhyme or reason to it, but he goes crazy at home and he like takes the week off when he's on the road. Yeah. So I'm still Drake London here though, and Bijan's obviously a no-brainer.
I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but I have a feeling of a big week for Amari Cooper this week. Maybe I'm just trying to will it into reality for one of my leagues. Did I pick the right two running backs, Achane and Mason? Yes. I have Rashad White, David Montgomery, and Tony Pollard. Yeah, you picked the right two.
Yep.
If those guys are on your bench, what is your flex? I mean, if you have a flex, because Rashad White is in my flex in almost every league. I mean, geez, you need to trade first off. Go find. This is where, like, if I have these three dudes on my bench right here, I'm gonna go try and find AJ Brown and go
trade Rashad. Trade White now. That's what I'm saying.
I would go trade any of these guys for AJ Brown right now. Like, hey, dude, this guy, you might not see AJ Brown till week 6. Even if you get a bye, then like put one of those guys in your flex or your.
Now, I know this is a totally different guy in a totally different league, but here's where I would put Monty together with someone to get AJ Brown. So I'll give you White and Monty for Brown. Let's do it. Because you don't why not? Just go crazy.
Yeah. Well, this also should be, is this a, it doesn't matter the league format, I guess, right?
It's PPR. It says at the end.
Yeah. I'm saying Dynasty or anything.
Oh,
it still doesn't matter.
I'm still doing it in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Probably more excited about doing it in Dynasty than redraft, to be honest.
Yep, AP did the same to Getsky also. He probably was referring to something else we were talking about. I don't know. I can't remember.
AP. Luke Getsy. AP. It's right there. I just can't figure out. But help me out.
I'll let you think of it. Thanks, guys. No problem, Pedro. Jay Stacks. Dobbins or Zamir White? Dobbins. Yeah. Saints D or Chargers D, and then Schultz or Janu?
Dobbins, Chargers.
Who the Saints play today?
Eagles.
The Eagles, yes. Yes. Chargers defense.
Janu's a nice safety valve for Skyler, though, right? Schultz is sort of not really involved. I'll go Schultz here because he's a better tight end, but I'm not crazy about it.
I'll go with the big playability in Janu.
The Vikings are kind of sort of an interesting defense. I don't think they're overly good, but apparently Flores' schemes is confusing the hell out of everybody because he's got guys going all over the place. So that might cause Stroud a little bit of trouble.
Good morning,
Mr. Scampers.
PPR flex. Brian Robinson Jr., Demarcus Robinson, JSN, Terry McLaurin, Rashad White, or Michael Pittman Jr. Jeez Louise.
JSN for sure.
JSN for me as well. Man.
Dude, that's a good team.
Yeah, that's a lot of freaking good options. That would be annoying to have to do week to week. I always try and trade to make my decisions easier on an everyday weekly basis.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smaller league based on that, but I don't disagree with you. That's where I'm going to start. Don't trade McLaurin because his value is super low right now. But if you can do something with Pitt, actually, I don't know what you do. Rashad White's the guy to trade because I think his value is going to come down. I think Pittman and McLaurin are going to go up. And Demarcus Robinson is a short term, so maybe you trade him because he's a short term. Well, maybe not short term. Who knows how long those guys are out for the Rams? I don't know.
Yeah, Cooper could be out for a minute. I think Cooper Kupp comes back sooner than I think he would have went to IR if he wasn't expected to come back early enough.
Yeah.
So Z Smitty, he asked a few questions here in a row, or he's just telling us this is his team for the week. Okay.
Baker Gibbs. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then his bench is.
So he's got a question. Does he have a question in there in the last one?
He does. So Amari Cooper's on his bench essentially with Justin Jefferson. Okay, so it looks like he's asking Coop or London.
So we're same question we just answered, right?
Yes, essentially. But he's 0-2. Oh, it's the same. Yeah. Okay, it was the same guy. So, but he's giving us more context to it. Okay.
I got it.
Yeah, I think I did. If I'm 0-2, let me see the starting lineup again. Josh Jacobs should get a ton of touches today. Bijan and Gibbs, man, that sucks. You're 0-2 with that team. I'm putting in. That makes sense why Josh Jacobs is in his flex. I'm going to put Amari Cooper in there. Yep.
Sticking with London.
Yep. Fair enough. And then
I don't have any real argument for it, but other than I like him.
Yeah. So. Definitely London is a guy I'm trying to acquire right now. Big player bust, also Bryce's nickname at RotoHeat.
Wow.
Bullshit.
Right? Thanks,
guys. Great info. Thank you. I got Bears D and kicker Brandon Aubrey. Both have buys. What you need to do is go to your league freaking commissioner and say, hey, let's take out this kicker and add another flex spot. Both have buys on week 7. They're doing great. Thinking of not dropping them in order to place them during the buy. Thoughts?
I think what it comes down to, and format obviously matters, but if you have really good players on buy, don't wreck your roster. Because if you lose, who gives a shit if you lose in week 7? Like, really? Like, if you're a playoff team and you make it your playoffs with 3 or 4 or 2 losses, no one's going to care about, you're not running the table. So no one cares about the week 7. Now, that being said, we are talking about a defense and a kicker here. I think you're talking about the best fantasy kicker and a pretty decent defense. But depending on how deep your team is or benches are, maybe you can ride them both through that bye. But don't worry about it if you lose week 7. Really, who cares?
Decent chance by that time anyway. You might be able to add somebody to IR. Like they might be out for a week or something, and you can.
There you go, too. You never know what's going to happen.
It seems like someone's always going on IR. Like they're not maybe on IR in real life, but like in fantasy, if they're labeled as out, you can put them on IR for the week.
Some settings, some leagues you can.
Yeah. So most like standard settings, like on Sleeper and ESPN and Yahoo, they'll let you do that. So PPR need 2: Algier versus Kansas City, Tyler Johnson versus San Fran, and Gabe Davis at Buffalo. So who are we? I'm probably sitting. Oh my goodness, I'm probably sitting Algier here. Yeah, I'm sitting Algier.
It all comes down to whether or not I can trust Tyler Johnson. And Tyler Johnson looked good a couple of weeks ago, but it kind of all came on one play. Is Gabe Davis doing anything in Jacksonville? I don't even know.
No. Nobody really is. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., I guess, is the most exciting player on their offense. I think having Evan Ingram out is hurting them worse than like people think.
Yeah, I think the guy who's the most consistent path to having the football in his hands is Tyler Algier, so I'm not going to sit him. I think I'm going to sit Tyler Johnson here. That's gross. I need to look. Where do I have Davis ranked?
I look forward to Algier leaving the Falcons and probably getting a starting role somewhere else one day. Mr. Scampers asked, though, while you're looking at that, are we confident in Ferg Daddy this week getting back to the number 2 target in Dallas?
No, I think Brandon Cooks gets that roll back. I think Dallas throws a lot today. I don't know what Ferguson's going to give us, or as I will now refer to him as Ferg Daddy. I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really think Ferguson's that good. I think just I think we saw kind of what this reminds, like the Dallas tight end situation kind of reminds me of Dawson Knox in Buffalo, where it's like the player's not that good, but the quarterback targets him enough to make him valuable for fantasy, and that's what I think Ferguson is. Where I think like Cook is good. I mean, he's older. Brandon Cooks is good. They need a better second option to catch the ball over there in Dallas. Definitely
Cooks is good.
Yeah, he is good. He's older, but he's still solid. I think he'd be better as like a number 3 option. I thought Dallas would definitely attack the wide receiver in the draft at some point this last year, but they kind of did late.
I don't know what they were doing. We thought they were going to attack running back too.
Running back, they really strange process they took in the draft. Many wide receivers are weak. My wide receivers are weak, I imagine. I need to trade for wide receiver. My wide receivers are St. Brown, Puka, Kirk, Terry, Shakir, Demarcus Robinson. Yeah.
Just be patient. You're okay. St.
Yeah, just roll it. Yeah, St. Brown's fine.
Shakir's going to pop. Obviously, Terry's hurting you, and Puka is not great either, right? Yeah. So Kirk could have a good game today. I think you're okay. It's easy to get a little bit, antsy when you start slow, but it's process over results. And St. Brown is a stud. Puka will be back. Kirk should get more involved. Daniels will get more comfortable. And Shakir, I think, is in a really good spot. It's Demarcus Robinson. It's a short-term thing, but hopefully he goes off in that short term for you.
Yeah, Puka will be back, but will he be Puka like we saw last year? I don't think so. We both knew that Cooper Kupp coming back full healthy was going to be a problem, which I guess
now nobody's healthy, right?
Yeah.
So,
all right. Demarcus Robinson or Rome Odunze. No Keenan Allen today, so it makes sense why we're asking this, or why he's asking this.
So the Bears have the Colts, and I think the Colts have given up close to 450 rushing yards so far this season. Jacobs and I can't remember who else just went all over them.
Jacobs did have 32 rushing attempts though,
and it was Mixon, and he had 30 something as well. So I don't think like Swift or Roschon or anybody, but I think collectively the Bears as a backfield could run like crazy. I do like Rome Odunze. I do like the position that Demarcus Robinson is in. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm going Rome Odunze here. I think they got to eventually start putting it together with Caleb Williams. The offensive line is horrible for the Bears.
It's too bad it sucks again.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Terrible. He was running for his life every play.
Yeah, I'm going to go with – I'll go with Rome as well.
Jay Stack said he has Cooper Kupp as well. He's the one that was asking the Brian Robinson, Demarcus Robinson, JSN. We went with JSN. And it is a 10-man league like you predicted.
Yeah, so hang tight. You'll be okay.
Good morning, gents. Full PPR. Choose one at wide receiver, Christian Kirk or Demarcus Robinson. So you announced that they said they're going to get Kirk more involved. Does it move the needle for you to start him above Demarcus today?
I just looked at where I have Demarcus Robinson ranked. So my previous answers changes from Rome Odunze to Demarcus Robinson. And I have him ranked higher than Christian Kirk as well. So I'll stick with Robinson. I think guy probably sees – he becomes – Stafford's number one guy, right? And Stafford targets the living hell out of his number one. So,
yeah, by default,
I think just the volume is Robinson for me.
Yeah, I think you have to go with him today over Christian Kirk. I'm going to wait till Christian Kirk makes me regret benching him before I start him.
I hope that's soon because I have a lot of shares of Christian Kirk.
I avoided him. I thought the acquisition of Ryan Robinson or Brian Thomas Jr. was going to hurt him, and it did.
Yeah,
and they signed Gabe Davis to not play him, so.
I don't know why they signed Gabe Davis, but to be honest, I think they signed Gabe Davis in case they didn't draft Brian Thomas, right?
No problem. Daniel Caps tried to trade for 2 running backs for a wide receiver because Puka don't come back for a few weeks still. Even if he does come back, I don't know. I just I don't if him and Cooper Kupp are out there, I don't really like Puka. If something happened to Cooper and it was just Puka out there, he immediately becomes a top 5 fantasy wide receiver again. Just like he was last year, but it's so hard, right? Like we have seen Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp healthy on the field together 3 times, maybe since they've both been there. And Cooper Kupp has a history of coming back and just not being the same. So does Puka do the same? I don't know. They immediately said Puka would be out like till week 7 or 8 or something like that. So they're probably taking their time with the young guy, and who knows? Yeah. Their season could very much be over in a couple of weeks, so who knows what's going to happen. It started off to looking decent.
I thought they were going to win that week 1 game, and they didn't. And now they're in serious trouble. But
Rate this trade. I traded Brock Bowers for, I imagine this is Rashad White and Michael Pittman Jr. I have Laporta. I ain't going to lie. I'd probably rather have traded Laporta.
Yeah, I think you got to be patient on Laporta as well.
Yeah, I like Laporta. I just think Brock Bowers is tight end 1 in fantasy at this point.
Like dynasty,
both.
McBride's right there too.
Yeah, McBride's good too. I like him, but dynasty definitely Brock Bowers for me. And redraft right now it is Brock Bowers, and I just don't see him slowing down. He's the number 2 option on that team, and Gardner Minshew slings it around.
Yeah, I think, and Gardner doesn't give a shit, right? Like Minshew knows his career's got a couple more in it, and he's just for it.
He's out there playing. That'd be the best situation, right? You're playing,
right?
Like you know you're not a star at this point. Like you're just playing to play. You're playing football,
and you still get millions of dollars. It's not like he's paying for $150K. Yeah, that's a good gig. Traded Bowers for White and Pittman. I have Laporta. Let's hope that Pittman gets going, and let's hope Laporta gets going. But I'm with Bryce. I would have traded Laporta first. I don't know why, but I think the emergence of Jameson Williams in the Detroit offense is really hurting Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We might have already seen Sam Laporta's best year.
I knew he was going to regress. Like he wasn't going to score 10 times again.
Well, it'd be hard to improve.
Right. But I didn't think his targets would go from 6 to 8 a game to 2 and 3. So I still think we're okay. Like, let's not totally panic on Sam Laporta, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't genuinely.
It's just like Kelsey. Kelsey's not going to put up these numbers the whole year. He's eventually going to start being more and more and more involved.
Is he?
Teams are going to have to start focusing on Rashee Rice. I mean, they're just like
they better.
Yeah, I mean, they're focusing on Kelsey, and it's like Rashee Rice is just getting all of it. So, I think Kelsey will be fine. I think when you get into these like it seemed like the Bengals always do a good job at holding Kelsey as well. And it seemed like week one, they were just, I don't know. Week one, they were just goofing off, I guess. I don't know. Another team that does well in the middle of the field, Roquan Smith is the middle linebacker for the Ravens. He locks down the middle of the field too. So Kelsey had kind of two tough matchups with two good linebacker cores that hold down the middle of the field. I think we'll start to see him do better. He can't do worse. At that point, he'd be basically a non-startable tight end.
That offensive lineman has more fantasy points than Travis Kelce.
Yes. But today, Travis Kelce scores. Got it in my parlay.
Against Atlanta.
Yeah. Tonight.
Your parlay? Tonight. Okay, yeah, we'll talk about your parlay more in a bit, but I want to know about it. I like it so far.
Who for my wide receiver 1 and 2 and RB2 and flex? So he needs 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a flex. DJ Moore, Alec Pierce, Calvin Ridley, Tank Dell, Jerry Jeudy. Kyren Williams, Jerome Ford, Josh Jacobs.
Okay, so can we do the running backs first because I think it's easier? I'm going to go with Kyren and Jacobs.
So you get only one running back and a flex. Is that who you're doing the flex?
I'm going to go.
I am.
Crap. I think I go. Are you going to go both running backs and one wide receiver? Is that what you're saying?
No. We get 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a flex. So
there's a reason that Bryce reads the questions because I can't read.
Kyron's definitely my wide receiver. It doesn't really matter, but my flex and my running back are going to be Kyren and Josh Jacobs. I can just tell by the options I have at wide receiver here that's definitely going to be wide receiver or running back flex is Kyren and Josh Jacobs.
I'm with you. So now we need 2 wide receivers.
One easy for me, which is DJ Moore, right? And then we get to our flex. Alec Pierce. Can't believe his name's getting mentioned. That's beautiful to see. Because I could drafted him thinking he'd be a lot more useful. And he's getting a lot of decent amount of targets. But do we start him over? I think the one that sticks out the biggest here is Calvin Ridley, right?
Yeah. That's mine.
And the answer is no. It's Calvin Ridley. Yeah. Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Kyren Williams, Josh Jacobs.
The only one that gives me pause with Ridley is Jeudy, but I'm not ready to do that yet either. So it's Ridley.
Yeah. Jeudy does it again this week. Then we can start putting him in these questions with guys like that.
And I hope the answer is Tank Dell because I'm starting to get a little worried there.
I think Tank Dell's next year. I think we're going to see Tank Dell not do much this year. He'll have a week or two that are like really, really good that keep your eye on him. But this is a guy I'm trying to acquire in dynasty leagues where
that's a good call.
I'm not winning. Tank Dell. Go get you some Tank Dell if you are in a dynasty league and your roster is not looking very good and you're not going to make the playoffs. He is going to pay off next year, the year after.
Write that down. That's a good call.
Yep. All right. Kwasi Devin McCoy asks, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, or Tank Dell for flex spot? You did just mention the Colts are allowing a ton of rushing yards. Are you putting in DeAndre Swift over Aaron Jones? I think we can both probably take Tank Dell out of this. At least I can.
I probably have Swift ranked higher. I do. They're close. Nope, I don't. I have Jones one spot higher than Swift, so I'll stick with my
did Jones
new
get
BFF.
Did Jones get beat up last week? I saw Ty Chandler had
He got a little dinged. He got a little dinged towards the end of the game. So yeah, Chandler had some really nice drives. So
yeah.
But I think Vikings are playing catch up today. I think we got a reasonable shot, but I don't think we win. But I think we're playing catch up against Houston today, and that leans more Aaron Jones than it does DeAndre Swift. So, and I think Swift is just on a team with 2 other running backs that are better than he is, to be totally honest. And I think they're going to split touches. So,
yeah, I really don't think he's that good either. I think he's shifty, but reminds me of like a Kroger brand, LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. I don't know why they don't give Khalil Herbert the majority of those touches. He's clearly the best running back on that team.
Or Roschon Johnson was decent last year.
They're both good.
Opportunity.
I believe they're both better running backs than Swift. But
yeah, bringing in Swift, I think, was a mistake for them. But
I don't know anything about anything.
It's Aaron Jones for me as well. I think even if they get in the red zone, they kind of use the bigger back and Khalil Herbert to punch it in. Juan Pena Jr. asks, should I trade Jerome Ford or Kyren Williams since I have Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall and Josh Jacobs? Should I trade Jerome Ford or should you trade them? I'd be trading Kenneth Walker before I traded Kyren Williams.
Yeah, he's damaged goods though right now, so that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough sell. But I mean, yeah, I'm always looking at you got 5 starting running backs. I would go try and find one of these hurt wide receivers. If this is a redraft league, I'm gonna go look for Cooper Kupp owner, AJ Brown owner, see if they need some help. Then bolster up my lineup for playoff time because those guys will probably be more valuable later in the season than those guys will on your bench.
I read this morning that Kenneth Walker is targeting a week 4 return, and I mentioned earlier that Zach Charbonnet is rushing for like 2 yards a carry, and Walker did run for 100 in week 1, although it was against Denver, so I'd like to hang on to him. Breece Hall's a stud. I think he's arguably going to be in the conversation for RB1, even with Braylon Allen performing quite nicely in a change of pace role. Kyron is a little bit confusing right now, and Jerome Ford, like Nick Chubb's coming at some point. So I think Ford is the guy I'm trading here because I think you can sell him as a top guy right now. But I think if you look at rest of season, if you're only going to trade one of them, it's probably Jerome Ford because Nick Chubb is coming back at some point, and I don't think he's coming back to be the Nick Chubb of old. But you don't need Jerome Ford right now, right? Like you can get by with Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs. Like if you only need to start 2, you can flex Kyron if you want to. And you have Kenneth Walker coming back. So I think it's Jerome Ford is the guy I dangle out there. And you're not going to get a home run for him, but you might get a solid wide receiver 2 or better tight end, or depends on format, upgrade your quarterback, something like that.
Yeah, having all 4 of those running backs, though, outside of Jerome Ford are nice because they'll be big pieces moving forward. Good trade bait, whether you want to make that right now or not.
True.
Josh said, hey. What's up, Josh? Flex, Steele at Atlanta, Akers at Minnesota, Goddard at New Orleans, or Waddle at Seattle. Who we flex? Not Goddard for me.
Not Waddle for me.
Not Waddle. I think I'm going to go with Akers.
I think I have to as well. And I'm sure I have Steele ranked as high or higher, but I just don't know what PC feels. And like I mentioned early on, I think it's more Samaje Perine than it is Carson Steele. So Akers has revenge in his blood today, so I'll go there.
Yeah, I think Akers could be I don't know. I have a feeling it's a good game today.
Mediocre game, I'll give you. He can't have a good game.
Greetings from Germany.
Greetings.
Where's our one? Who's our? Oh, Thomas, right?
Thomas, and then we had the other. Oh,
I know the profile picture.
Greetings from the future, right? We had the greetings from the future.
Yeah.
They were both
greetings from Germany, fellas. Banged up with injuries. Puka, Pacheco. Who do I flex in full PPR? Jordan Whittington or Keon Coleman? I'm leading Whittington in the slot.
Yeah, me too. I don't know what's going on with Keon Coleman. And Buffalo in general just isn't throwing the ball a ton. And they're going to try to win these games with Cook and the way they've been playing. So, and I think they can do that against Jacksonville. So Whittington's shifty. Don't know a lot about him. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's kind of fun with the ball in his hands. They don't have any options.
He apparently was making like a little bit of noise in camp and training.
He had a good preseason for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, opportunities there now, right? I mean, got no other choice than to have him on the field. Keon Coleman did have a really good snap count last game. I think he was on the field for like 90%.
Just do you have any targets?
No.
Yeah. No. So he's doing calisthenics or cardio exercises.
Stretching and blocking, baby. Stretching and blocking.
I was worried about him going out.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get somebody involved in that offense. Somebody's got – I just feel like nobody maybe has chemistry with Josh Allen outside of Khalil.
And I think Coleman's a red zone guy. Like, I think if they can get into the red zone and throw the football, he's going to be good there. Kind of like I talked about Brian Thomas Jr. earlier. Big hands, good body control, contested catch guy. But as long as James Cook keeps doing what James Cook is doing, and I know it's only been 2 games, there's not going to be a lot of targets down there because you got to have someone that's going to choose not to call a play with James Cook rushing the ball and not choose a play with Josh Allen running the ball to throw the ball. So, and then it gets really interesting because Dawson Knox is a touchdown favorite of his. Kincaid, for the love of God, let him get going, and Shakir. So I just think it's tough for him. He's in a really tough spot.
Should I grab Green Bay defense going against the Titans? This is a defense I streamed this week. Or should I keep the Chargers for the Steelers? I think I'd probably just roll it, keep the Chargers here. I don't really trust Green Bay's defense moving forward. They don't really have very good pass rushers that are consistent where the Chargers do. So they keep your sack upside really, really high, and Harbaugh always seems like he always coaches a good defense. So I just keep the Chargers here. Maybe hope you get one of those Justin Fields turnovers, or he tries to scramble and gets sacked. I don't think there's a huge difference in these defenses today.
I'm with you. I'd actually prefer the Titans defense of all of them here, because I think Mahomes going to have a bit of trouble. That said, that's not an option. I do like the Chargers defense this week, so I'll stay there as well.
And I just like them moving forward more. Like I might prefer the Packers this week just because of the matchup, but I think the Chargers moving forward, the difference isn't enough for me to drop them. So he said, should I grab? So no, I'd keep what you got. Excellent info, guys. Thanks. You're welcome, Pedro.
Thanks, Pedro.
So hopefully it pays off for you. Sometimes we're wrong.
It happens.
Thanks for the advice, Sully and Bryce.
I love scampers. Coolest cat in town.
Sully, Vikings are legit.
Let's calm down. We're playing well, but I'm not. I think we're okay. I do like what Brian Flores is doing with our defense, and I was higher on Sam Darnold than almost everybody coming into the season. So cautiously optimistic. We need Jordan Addison back though in a big way, and our defense is a little beat up injury wise. But anyway, on to the question.
Start two, wide receiver and a flex. So Amari Cooper, Tank Dell, Rome Odunze, Xavier Worthy, and Cam Akers. Who are you doing as your wide receiver and your flex?
Cooper and Akers, I think.
It is Cooper and Akers for me as well.
Two guys I've kind of crapped on the whole show, and I'm picking them.
Yep.
Dallas Turner is the other guy I was thinking that was hurt from Minnesota. That could hurt us today.
Any New England fans with inside info
Nope.
ghosting of Javon Baker?
There are no New England fans anymore.
Yeah. Or few and far between. Activated on Thursday apparently, but didn't see the field. I think the hype for him was warranted in the offseason, but we just have like a bunch of decent wide receivers. Like KJ Osborne kind of just goes out there, does his job. Pop Douglas is good, so he should be out there. And Jalen Polk is going to eventually kind of, I think, start to separate himself eventually as our best, like outside the non-slot wide receiver. So Javon, there's a path for Baker to eventually see the field, but I just don't see it happening this year. With Kendrick Bourne going to be coming back eventually as well. He's going to be stacked way down on the depth chart. So he's a stash on your taxi squad, or a stash in really, really deep dynasty leagues. But I just don't see him being. He might not get any catches this year. So
KJ Osborne is one of the best blocking wide receivers in the National Football League. So he's going to be on the field all the time. Like, I don't think he had a target this week. I don't think Jacoby.
I think he did.
Did he? He didn't have a catch. He didn't have a catch.
He didn't. I thought he caught that one. I thought he caught like a third down ball for a first down. He probably dropped it.
Can't even catch a cold these days. But anyway, I like Javon Baker, and I think eventually, like, I think the puzzle. I agree with everything you say. Obviously, like you're the resident Patriots expert, but why is Butte on the field over Baker? I don't get that.
There's some stuff I don't understand for sure. Like why?
Like I don't even know why that guy's on your roster.
At this point, as an organization, I don't know why we're. I mean, I know we want to like let's keep the run game established, take pressure off the quarterback because the offensive line can't block worth a shit. So that's fine, getting the run game going. But Jacoby Brissett, they need to emphasize him just throwing it. Like I don't know why he's holding on to the ball so long. I think he has there was a stat saying that he has the longest time to throw with not a very good offensive line. So that's a problem.
That's interesting.
But that could also be that he doesn't see people open enough. But at some point, you just got to force it out there and see if guys can make plays.
Or they're not open.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Douglas seemed open on every snap. So
Pop Douglas is a lot. He put up numbers that I thought that he could be putting up the whole year if used correctly on the middle field. He's super shifty. And
I'd rather my team goes out and throws the ball 40 times and loses than runs the ball 35 times and loses. Like, just give it a shot. And
I think this will be changing here soon. I think here in the next, maybe not next week because they got San Fran, but the week after we might see Drake May. So I hope they don't put him in against San Fran. I really don't want to see that. I'd rather him get a little bit better matchup.
I think they're smarter than that.
Well, we might see him against San Fran, but it might be in the second half, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think Jacoby know what he's there for. They didn't put him in a good situation. I don't think any quarterback is going to be succeeding in this team right now. So, I don't think it's Jacoby's fault at all.
The one thing about being a Patriots backup is you are going to see him a lot because the camera's always going to go to him on the sidelines when Jacoby struggles.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
tough.
I was not excited. I was not. I mean, it sucks to be a fan right now just because it's not even fun to watch. Like it's like I don't want to watch Jacoby Brissett go out there and throw it to
I get it, but I also tell all you Patriots fans just shut up. Shut up.
Yeah. Like just at least give me something to watch. Just
you want to watch
Jacoby's
something?
out there freaking Joe Flacco in it. That'd be fun.
You want to watch something? Watch your banners waving in the wind, you assholes. I don't need to hear it.
True. Yeah, probably being a little selfish. Brian Robinson or Aaron Jones?
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones for me as well. Has a huge PPR upside this week. Brian Robinson doesn't really have.
I like them both though. I think Brian Robinson is vastly underrated running back.
Yep. I think he's. I think he's really good. It's just he's in a situation where he doesn't get the PPR work now.
True.
David Montgomery or George Pickens?
I'm going to stick with Monty because of his touchdown upside.
Yeah, I'll stick with Monty as well. The pass game for the Steelers is not something fun to watch either.
Yeah.
It's about as bad as the Patriots. T. Higgins or Xavier Worthy?
Ooh, this is a good question.
This is T. Higgins for me.
I guess it is. I think that Burrow's got to get going, right? And T coming back against a Washington defense that is not good. Worthy's just not getting the touches, but when he does get the ball, it's very possible it's going for 6. So I think it's T. Higgins too, and I'm struggling with what to do with my Xavier Worthy's on a couple of teams, but I'll go T. Higgins here, and hopefully he starts off his season strong.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy should get some more touches. He's warranted the opportunity after week 1. I don't know what was going on in week 2, why they didn't at least try and get in the ball more, but I imagine they will.
Yeah, he was okay in week 2 with his touches, but I don't think he only touched the ball 3 times. So.
Yeah, I think he only touched it 3 times in week 1 and scored 2 touchdowns. He still saw he's a longtime Viking even by how rosy his outlooks are for his team always is.
Vikings fans we're born and bred to be pessimistic. It's what we do. 60 plus years with Dick. That'll do it to you.
Thoughts on Mooney and Downs, 1 point PPR. I kind of like Mooney. I like the situation he's in. He had a decent amount of targets.
If you look at the next comment, I think it's a rest of season question.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. I don't know what the hell is going on with Anthony Richardson in terms of passing that you and I talked about earlier. And Kirk likes Darnell Mooney, and Darnell Mooney's always been a good wide receiver. So, and I'm a huge Josh Downs fan, but I think I'm going to go with you on the Mooney side on this one as well.
Well, the numbers are stacked up against Josh Downs because Alec Pierce has now kind of become the favorite. And I don't know if that's because he's a deep ball guy and Anthony Richardson, when he does throw it, just likes to try and go for the big plays. They're going to have to change that. They're going to have to make him hey, we need to start throwing this shorter and get some easy plays and take these shots later, because he's not really working the short game or the middle of the field at all, which is why he's struggling so bad. I don't know. It just seems like he's just trying to get it all in one play or something like that. But this is what I worried about him coming out. This is why at the time, Bryce Young and Stroud were my favorite because they were better passers in college. Obviously, that hasn't panned out that great, but I did like Stroud a lot more than most people did, because he got the precedent set on him by other previous Ohio State quarterbacks that, Ohio State quarterback comes in the league and is good.
Well, that's true. Bryce had that with Bama quarterbacks too. But,
true. Tua was playing well last year, so it kind of helped him a little bit.
True.
And Mac Jones had a good rookie year, but then we lost our offensive coordinator, and then they were
replaced him with 2 defensive guys. That was pretty smart.
But I definitely like Mooney. Rest of the year. I think that Josh Downs is he's going to be hurting for touches, and I don't even know. Alec Pierce and AD Mitchell. I don't know. It's too murky for me. I don't like the whole wide receiver situation for the Colts. Booty has more talent than Baker. Hasn't played like it though.
Then he doesn't have more talent.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Javon Baker's got a lot of raw talent. It seems like Bootsy's is more of a head case issue than anything.
Agree.
Flex, Pitts, or Cam Akers?
Pitts.
Cam Akers. Half PPR. Doesn't change it for you?
Probably. Yeah. Good God. Yeah, it's probably Cam Akers, and it makes me ill. But yeah.
I hope it's Pitts. I do. I hope it's Pitts.
Kansas City, and now it's not a big sample. It's only a couple of games, but like Gesicki went for almost 100 yards on them last week. So we'll see. But I still hold out hope for Kyle Pitts. I might be saying that till I'm 110 years old. I don't know, but there is a possibility that he is.
Wouldn't it be great is if he just ends this contract with them and then the Chiefs signing? I'm still hoping for that. I've been saying that since last year. It's the perfect timing, perfect situation. So it could be just a beautiful, beautiful situation. I'm going to will that into existence as well, and I'm going to reference it when it does happen. Trust T. Higgins or Jaden Reed with injury. Cloudy questions are toss in Deontay Johnson, Tolbert, Demarcus Robinson. So he's got T. Higgins and Jaden Reed in. Are you taking either of them out and putting in Deontay Johnson, Tolbert, or Demarcus Robinson?
Yeah, I have Deontay Johnson and Demarcus Robinson over Jaden Reed this week because of the Malik Willis factor. I don't think they throw the ball very much. So 3 wide receiver sets, Jaden Reed's on the field. 2 wide receiver sets, he's not. So he's limited in snaps to these guys, and he's limited with his quarterback plays. So this is not I don't like Jaden Reed. It's an I don't like Jaden Reed situation. So T's the top guy here, and then I'm going to go with Deontay and Robinson. But if I can only take 2, it'll be Higgins and Deontay Johnson.
I'm going to stick with T and Jaden Reed. It is weird to see Jaden Reed not in there in the 2 wide receiver sets. But I think when you get Malik Willis in there, they're going to have to take out Wicks and leave Jaden Reed in, because Reed is more of a guy that's a smaller guy that's shiftier and get open and smaller in the shorter part of the field. They're not going to have Malik Willis be stretching the ball down the field, which I feel like Wicks is going to be probably a little bit better at.
Well, that hurts Christian Watson too. Like, he's invisible right now.
Yeah, I think Christian Watson is the 4th best wide receiver on that team, though. To be honest, yeah. I think it's Jaden Reed, Wicks, and Romeo.
Yeah, he's the only guy that doesn't come off the field, right? Like, Dobbs seems to stay on the field regardless of what's going on.
Yep. Yep.
But
he's super sure-handed. Just a really sure-handed guy too.
I just don't trust Malik Willis, even in a massive revenge opportunity, to do much.
Oh man, you could be a Panther fan. That would be so. Oh my gosh, that would suck.
I think the worst part about being a Panther fan is the problem is your owner.
The best part is the draft will be exciting. It's the next one at least. Huh?
My headphones just quit. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, good.
Okay, good. Could just be a Panther. Scampers can confirm that. Oh, gotcha. Craig is here too. Yeah, I was wondering why Booty was getting so much run. Might have gotten his head screwed on right. Yeah. Didn't he get in trouble for doing stuff with his female trainer or something? A bunch of them got, and that what started a big thing there. I can't remember.
I don't know. Maybe he's trying to be the new Browns quarterback.
No, I think this one was consensual. All of it.
Oh,
I think it was multiple players. It wasn't just him. I think it was a lot of players. Matthiasen, Vikings fan since '98. However, I'm from Los Angeles, so I know what championships feel like. So I'm not like other Vikings fan, Minnesota people. I feel like my team can win it all every year. Well, what a nice life you must live. What a bunch of disappointments you must deal with every year. Must be that's like the life of a Dallas Cowboys fan.
I saw a thing on Facebook yesterday. It was like things that were cool in the 90s, and it was like a floppy disk and a couple other things, and then the Cowboys logo, and it made me chuckle. So
yeah, I saw one. It was like how to say thank you in Spanish, and it was like grass, a C, and then it was the Cowboys logo, grass, C, ass. That was pretty good.
I like it.
4-point passing touchdown. Andrew Gregory, Dalton, or Daniel Stephen Jones. Are these their actual names? Must be.
It's definitely Andrew Gregory Dalton. I know that for certain. I think it might be Daniel Shitty Jones, but I'm not sure. Stephen's probably the right one.
It's Andy Dalton here for me, though. The answer.
I'm going to go with Dalton here as well.
Yeah, it does suck being a Panthers fan.
Sorry, Scampers. You're still the coolest cat I know.
You know, you'll have more fun watching the Panthers today than I had watching the Patriots on Thursday. I'll tell you that.
Well, Dalton is a lot like Minshew, right? Like Dalton's a lot like Minshew. Dalton knows where he's at in his career, and he doesn't care either. So he's going to force it into tight windows and go for it and not care. So he'll be fun to watch.
And you know, that's what I thought they were going to have Jacoby come in and do. Like, I thought he was just going to be just freaking slinging it.
I just don't think that guy's ever had that in his DNA, though, right? He's always been a sort of cautious type of guy.
Bro, you got nothing to lose. Who cares if you throw 2 or 3 picks a game? If he throws 2 or 3 picks and then 300 yards and a touchdown or 2, that's going to be more fun to watch than what we're watching right now, which is like 100 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That sucks. That's boring. Sling it down there.
Disagree.
What are you doing? Yep, we're caught up. I guess I can pull out my parlay. I want to put another one in.
Here's the trade I made this week. Dynasty League, full PPR. I traded Deontay Johnson, Devin Singletary, and my 25 second, which should be hopefully towards the latter side, for Chris Godwin, Brandon Cooks, and a third.
Huh. Chris Godwin's a nice one. He might be a league winner this year.
Yeah, so that team has DeAndre Hopkins on it, which is killing me. Deontay Johnson, which was killing me. Tyreek Hill, which hopefully won't kill me. So I was kind of deep-ish at running back. So it's old. My running backs are old. It's Henry, Jacobs, somebody else in Singletary. So I decided to make that trade.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You're trying to win, obviously, too. So
yeah, I am. So let's hear that parlay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have this one's to win $11,000, but it's far-fetched. It's Brock Bowers, David Montgomery, and Jamar Chase all to score 2 touchdowns. 2+. That one's just the good.
What is that, $10 for $11K?
Yeah. But what will happen is if the first 2 hit, the Jamar Chase didn't play till Monday, I'd probably cash out whatever it offered me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unless it was like $300. I'm like, screw it. All right, so here's the one I got. I got Zeke over 32.5 rushing yards. That's where his line got set. Seems low. Lamar over 53.5 rushing yards. Tampa Bay to cover the spread, 6.5.
They should kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. Nico Collins over 75.5.
That's tough.
That is a lot. But he can get that in 2 plays.
He's playing a pretty good defense all of a sudden.
Yeah. Barkley over 72.5. Rushing.
I like rushing. I'd like that better.
Well, I could see him coming out pissed off that he lost him last week because he did.
He totally lost that game.
Yes. Yeah. It was a perfect play call, perfect execution. All he has to do is catch the ball and fall down or score or whatever.
Yeah. DJ
Moore over 64.5. I think he finally kind of unlocks today. And then I got the Green Bay Titans and the Packers under 38.5. And then the Chiefs to cover 3-point spread at $10 to win 2,000. I
think your hardest one is the Nico one, to be honest.
I think so too. And I didn't like putting it on there, but I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that game could be kind of a sneaky little shootout today. So
I like it. I think it's going to be a good game. I think, like I said, we're chasing all games, so I think it could be a shootout.
Huge AJ Green fan here, saying that Green is greater than Julio. Green just had a bad QB, and Dalton always been trash. Interesting.
I'm a fan of AJ Green and Julio Jones as well, but AJ Green was not better than Julio Jones.
Yeah, I would not say that. Maybe in college, but not in the NFL. Julio Jones was arguably
both are great wide receivers. Both were early. If memory serves me correct, first round draft picks in 2012. I liked them both, but
Julio was first for the number 1 in that class for sure.
Like Green went before Julio, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I think Julio was first. Yeah, look it up.
I'll pull it up because I'm a nerd like that.
Josh did say, "Hey, the Minnesota Twins won a World Series in '87 and '91."
They won a couple.
Ouch.
I'm a Red Sox fan.
I wasn't even alive then. Start 2, London, McBride, Bowers, Pittman, Brian Thomas, and Steele. Starting 2 out of these guys. Oh my gosh. Am I gonna start both tight ends?
Okay, I got the wrong year. I think it was 2011. Hang on, I'm still working on the research here. Yeah, it was 2011. AJ Green went 4th overall. Julio went 6th overall.
Okay, they're back, almost back to back.
Wow.
What two are you starting here?
Sorry. Drake London, McBride, Bowers, Pittman, Thomas, or Steele. Assuming no PPR, assuming no premium, I might start both tight ends.
That's what I said. I'm starting Bowers here. I just don't know if I want London or McBride. Bowers is getting like
Bowers
target the week for sure.
So I'd probably rank Bowers on the top of this list.
You could almost like throw Bowers in a wide receiver category. Like it's not going to really change anything because he's getting the targets. He's kind of built like one. Like he's what we've wanted Kyle Pitts to be.
Yeah.
Already.
I'm going to go with both tight ends.
I think I am too. This is sickening.
I think that Arizona is going to have to throw a bunch. I think they can beat Detroit today, and I think they'll throw a ton.
Yeah, I think the Falcons definitely approach a balanced approach in this game to try and control some clock. Yeah. Carr, this is Derek Carr for me, especially this week.
Yeah. Now the Rams are beat up. They don't have much in terms of defense, but Purdy's kind of limited in terms of offensive weapons. I think it's a Jordan Mason game more than anything else. So I'm with Carr. You got to ride the hot hand. The guys scored on every bloody drive they've had this year, and they've scored 91 points. Like I think you just keep riding the hot hand, and Purdy's looked like crap. So, yep, Carr.
Yep, it's Carr for me as well. And that game could be. I mean, he's playing the Eagles, so it could be a shootout today. Plenty of
one of my super flex league, my quarterbacks are Carr and Hurts, so that's fine.
Yep. I'm trying to pick some receivers to go over 100 yards today. I just want two more. I got two so far. Who do you see going over 100 yards today?
Jamar Chase. Is that today?
That's tomorrow.
Okay. Hang on.
Today. CeeDee Lamb, maybe? Or
Justin Jefferson can always do it.
True.
Amon-Ra can always do it.
I'm thinking about Amon-Ra for sure.
Marvin Harrison Jr. might do it. It's a little riskier, but I think you might have 100 passes combined in that Detroit Arizona game. Like I think they could throw it a ton.
So I go with Maserati Marv and Amon-Ra.
I think Marv's risky.
He is.
I'd put it on. Rashee Rice could do it too.
Oh, what about Adams?
Olave could do it against the Eagles.
Yeah. What time do they play?
Early.
Yep, let's go with Olave.
I hope you're right there.
Out this year.
And Green, it did go fourth, and Julio went sixth. You were 100% correct on that.
Correct.
And they're both Hall of Fame wide receivers, in my opinion. Godwin goes over 100. That's a good call.
Who do they play today?
I know the answer. They play Denver, and Denver stinks.
Yeah,
so
PS2 hasn't been playing that great.
Evan probably gets Patrick Surtain. So Godwin in the middle of the field could just go crazy. The only challenge there is how much is Baker going to throw? Because Denver, I think, might be the worst team in the league.
I'm gonna take DJ Moore off of it and put in. I was just thinking DJ Moore's gonna have a big week, but I'm gonna put in Chris Godwin.
Tough to trust Caleb right now. Devontae versus Carolina in the chat. It's another good one. You were thinking that as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Does it have to be a wide receiver? Because it could be Bowers.
I could put Bowers in there too. I thought about it. Bowers, Godwin, or Adams?
Bowers, Godwin, or Adams? I think Godwin. I like all.
Let's do Godwin's line. Godwin's line is 63.5. Let's do it. Ultimate receiving yards. Yeah, I might take out somebody and put in Let's see. I put in Amari. I think Amari Cooper is going to have a big game today, so I put in Amari Cooper.
Okay.
Amon-Ra, Olave, and Chris Godwin all for 100 yards. $10 wins you 3,613.
All right, you're buying next week.
Yep. It just went up 3,694.
Look at that.
Holy crap. That'd be a good day. Just 4 players got to put up 100 yards. It's really not that big deal. For it. It's not like players that can't do it.
They're all players that can do it.
All right. We got one more question, and then we will get out of here and set our own lineups. Deontay Johnson or Demarcus Robinson? It's Deontay Johnson for me.
And DeMarcus for me. Like them both.
So, and one more. Thanks on Mr. Scampers. Drake London versus Kansas City or JSN versus Miami? Give me Smith and Jigba.
Yes, please.
And another one from Acrazia. Take 2 RBs and 1 flex. No worries. We'll answer them all.
Keep going. Keep them coming.
Jacobs, Mason, Moss. Okay. We can pick the 2 running backs right there real quick, right? I mean, Jacobs and Mason.
It's Mason for sure. You could maybe argue a little bit between Jacobs and Moss, but I'm Jacobs.
Jacobs had 32 rushing attempts last week. I think
with
no Jordan Love.
Why he doesn't this week, but
but I think without Jordan Love, he does.
That's
I think
true.
Jordan Love, that's what they're doing. So Jacobs and Mason for me, 25 plus touches each. That might get 50 touches between those 2 guys.
That might just win right there. That's your whole week right there.
Yeah. Cooper or Dell. It's or Ertz. Amari Cooper.
It's Cooper.
Yeah. Yep. Oops. Thanks. No worries, Mr. Scampers.
Thanks, Scampers. Thanks.
We got 20 minutes anyway.
So. Thank you guys a lot.
Yep. Thanks for coming in today, guys. Kept us busy. I was kind of worried at the beginning we weren't going to stay too busy, but
yeah, I was worried.
Had a decent amount of questions in here.
I was worried that we missed last week, that maybe they found something else to do. So glad the guys came back.
Yep.
And we'll be here again the next week for sure.
Yeah, I don't have another appointment until like 4 weeks, so 3 or 4 weeks. And actually, I think I could go till noon that day. So maybe we'll start at like 10:30 or something. I can go till about noon, and then I got to leave.
Whatever needs to be done, we'll make it happen.
Yep. We'll make it work. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck in all of your matchups.
Awesome. You too,
all
man.
of them. And thank you guys. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace.